my pleasure to welcome you to a very unique and pioneering event. The All India Management Association, AIMA, is pleased to host Insight Storm, and we are privileged to have many extraordinary individuals from the worlds of business, art, and media with us today. I congratulate Anisha Motwani and Ranjan Malik for creating an excellent and exciting platform for generating meaningful strategic insights. Insight Storm is quite unlike the usual conferences, talks, or panel discussions we normally see. It is different in its intent, and it is different in its content. It is about getting leading artists, entrepreneurs, CEOs, and media anchors to share their experiences and glean strategic insights from their stories. The objective of this exercise is to identify clear and applicable learnings that can help you raise your game. I'm looking forward to hearing interesting stories and smart insights that have made substantial impact on the market and innovations. We are grateful to all our partners and sponsors for supporting Insight Storm. I welcome you all once again, and I thank you for being with us today. All the best. Let the show begin.
All right, so namaskar, ladies and gentlemen. Let's start the Insight Storm. For us, what is an insight? If you look at the history of innovation in the world, every transformative innovation was rooted in a deeper human truth. That's insight. And usually these deeper human truths that it was something implicit that was made explicit. But the thing about insights is they are breathtakingly obvious in hindsight. When new, unusual dots connect unexpectedly, an aha is triggered. That's an insight. We have lots of amazing minds here who are going to share their insights with us. How will we do it? There's a very interesting format. What happens within one session? See, we also say that insight storms are triggered when diverse fields collide, when they come together from the amazing intersection. We are bringing art and business together this time. So you'll see every session will have one art thought leader and one business thought leader. The first segment is insights. You'll actually see an amazing jugalbandi of insights. So as the session begins, art insight 1, business insight 1. Art insight 2, business insight 2. Art insight 3, business insight 3. That's segment 1. Segment 2, stories behind the insights. And the third segment is fresh insights. Having heard the other thought leader, when art listens to business and when business listens to art, new dots connect. So the art person shares a fresh insight that happened for him or her when he heard the business speaker. And business speaker will share his fresh insights, and we finish it there. That's how an insight storm happens. So we start the insight storm, ladies and gentlemen. The firm he has is called...
Throughout the day, various eminent thought leaders from two diverse fields, that is art and business, have shared their insights. In 2-episode series, we bring to you sharp and valuable insights by some of these leaders. The first insight session was on the topic vision, and the eminent thought leader from the world of art sharing his insight is Kabir Bedi, and from the world of business is Ajay Bijli.
The first session, we've customized it slightly. We'll have 2 segments within. We'll have Mr. Bedi share his 3 insights and 3 stories. And then we'll have Mr. Bijli speak, where Anisha Motwani will ask Mr. Bijli 3 questions, and he'll answer those 3 questions, which will be insightful. So let's start with Mr. Bedi.
Motivation is a very important factor. What is it that actually motivates you to act on your realization? And my first insight is that adversity can be your biggest motivator. The second thing is, moving in one direction is fine. As you go along, there's lots of things you do to get along, lots of efforts you make to try and get ahead. And then there are things, whether you call it luck or you call it opportunity or you call it coincidence, something happens, and that's an opportunity. The key is being able to recognize opportunity. That ability to say, my God, this could be a massive opportunity, is something that needs to be acted on. And to act on it, you need to be able to recognize the opportunities. So that's my second insight. Opportunities don't come with marching brass bands. Thirdly, when you reach a level of success, it's very important to see what else you can do, where else you can move from there. Because resting on your laurels can be dangerous. It can be stagnating. So for you to grow and your vision to grow and your evolution to be complete, beyond success, you have to look at what lies beyond that success and what else you can do. So my third insight is, success is not an end, there are other worlds to conquer. Now, there are stories behind these. Coming back to the first insight, which was adversity can be your biggest motivator. My family was a remarkable family. My parents were Oxford educated, but they were very idealistic people. They fought for the freedom of the country. After independence, they chose spiritual paths. So even though they were intellectually and culturally very rich, economically, I won't say they're poor, but let's say lower middle class economically. And as a result, I got my admission to St. Stephen's College in Delhi, but I had to pay my way there. I had to work. So I worked with All India Radio and Television. And it was really hard. It was tiring. And one day, while coming back from the radio station, I was sitting in this auto, and as it was going along, it hit a real bad khadda. And my head banged violently against the danda on top of the auto. And I was in pain and furious, and I looked up and I saw this plane flying. I said to myself, one day corporations will fly me across the world. That was the anger that crash with the bar in the auto generated, but it also was my motivation. As a result, when I finished college, I came to the city where there were corporations, which is Bombay, Mumbai today, Bombay then. And that in turn led to my working with advertising, where I worked for Ogilvy, Mather, and Lintas as their film chief. So corporations did fly me across the world for that period of time, at least all across India. Then I moved over to the film world. So I entered the industry. I had one very big hit film called Kache Dhage with Raj Khosla, signed up a film called Nagin. And then the Italians came to India looking for a character called Sandokan, which was going to be the lead of a television series in Italy. And they had come on a tour of Asia, looking at 10 cities in Asia to find Sandokan. And the first person they met in the first city they came to was me. And they said, will you come to Rome at your own expense to do a screen test? Now, I could have said, what nonsense. I'm an established actor. How dare you say at your own expense? You want to audition me, you fly me. But I said, no, I'll come. No problems. So, because I was able to recognize that this might be a life-changing opportunity. And it was. Because that series I went on to complete became the biggest hit in European television. Its TRPs have not been matched till today. People remember me for that series till today. Every generation in Italy and Europe has seen that series till today. And if I had stood on pride and ego and said, no, pay for me to come, I'd have lost it. So the important thing is learning to recognize opportunity when you see it. Then, when Sandokan became this incredible success, and this is my third point, success is not an end, there are other worlds to conquer. For all my success, Italy could not cast me in any other role. I was the quintessential, iconic Sandokan. So success became a trap. I realized also that having reached this level of success, I couldn't build on it further in Europe. And what else remained? Either go back to India or push forward. So I said, let's go to Hollywood. So I went on to Hollywood. In Hollywood, I certainly was a working actor. I may not have been Hollywood's biggest star, but at the end of the day, to have established a career on 3 continents, starting out of Bollywood, going to Europe, going to America, And that actually was the greatest satisfaction of all.
How are visionaries able to foresee a future that others just can't imagine?
I don't know how it happens for others. I can only tell you what happened in my case.
It's your story.
I mean, you know that I belong to a trucking family. I was born in Amritsar. I knew that I had to join the family business and do something and prove myself. So that was the only little sort of motivation or sort of goal that I had. But I just knew that the trucking company called ATC wasn't for me. So I was privileged and fortunate that Dad had bought a cinema in 1978 called Priya. And I was keen to prove myself. So I just, so that there was no like massive grand vision. It was just like a mini vision, very small vision, that you have lots of people, who like to watch movies. So India makes the highest number of films in the world. And I used to find the cinemas, with due respect to all the cinemas that were there in late 1980s and early 90s, because the video boom was at its peak. They were very gray, very dark, very drab. Nobody was wearing uniforms. The sound and projection wasn't very good, barring one or two here and there. So I thought maybe perhaps if I improve the sound quality, the projection quality, the customer service, the ambience, also make it colorful, vibrant and everything, perhaps people will come back to the cinemas and not get impacted by video. That was the only little mini sort of goal that I had with the single screen cinema Priya. And I was fortunate that the response was just tremendous. People loved the idea of seeing uniformed staff, courteous staff, getting fresh popcorn, fresh cola, and good food, and great sound and ambience. So that really became the motivator then. And then from there on, it encouraged me to do other things. And again, I was fortunate that every little experiment that I did, it turned out to be okay, And I was also very fascinated by people who only focused on one thing and not get carried away by doing too many things. So I just realized that this is all I know. Even if I can do a good job in this, I'll be happy. So that's been my journey. And
What drives a visionary? How do they keep themselves motivated in the face of extreme odds?
Well, as Mr. Bedi said that, adversity plays an important role. So 92 was a very, it was a big setback for me. My dad passed away suddenly. I was only 25 years old. Then in 90, I had to go back to the trucking company. And in 94, again, we had a huge fire. We lost all the money. So I was very confused about this mini success that I had got in the cinema business. At the same time, I had to run the trucking company. And then the trucking company, again, I still believe in retrospect, because it was a non-core activity for me. It was something I was not passionate about. And that's when, I had seen some multiplexes abroad. I'd gone to Orlando. I used to travel to the US. And I was just very fascinated that 5 to 6 films get released every week in India. And if you only have one house, you're stuck to that one movie, and it may do well, it may not do well, and your whole 1,000 seats multiplied by 5 shows in a day run empty. So there was a way to convert that 1,000, 1,200 seater cinema into a multiplex, but there were no building bylaws, there was nothing there. If I could do that, then maybe people will come. I had my apprehensions that whether they'll come to smaller cinemas, smaller screens, but again I felt that if you give good sound, good quality, projection system, maybe people will come. So I think that two adversities, my dad sort of passing away, the fire, really propelled me to move forward and then say, okay, this is all I want to do. Opened the first multiplex in 97, again did very well. Then the mall started happening, opened the first multiplex in a mall in 2001. Then 2003, opened the largest multiplex in India in Bangalore. And that's it, then one thing led to another.
What happens once the visionary has achieved what he set out to achieve?
I think, again, it's external stimuli. You're a listed company. You've got so many people who don't want you to get off the treadmill. That's one thing. And then and it's internal treadmill. I think just naturally, either you are somebody who's happy to rest on his laurels, or you're somebody who wants to get restless. I get restless if I feel that we're getting complacent. So I really get restless. So we just opened our 15-screen complex, the largest in the country, in Noida. And again, very fortunate, a lot of people came. It's a success. But I was just seeing everybody getting a little restless in the organization. I think it's your nature becomes like that. It's not that I don't enjoy if we meet with success. But I think one is internally, I think all of us in our company has got the DNA now to not rest on our laurels and keep moving forward, look at the next challenge. And externally, we're a listed company. We just can't help it. Every quarter, we have to continue to perform. If you don't perform in one quarter compared to the last quarter, you get hammered. So both things have kept us on our toes.
Partly out of listening to Ajay, partly as a result of my own experience. But, the fact that Ajay chose to be in the theatre business rather than the trucking business means that he followed his heart. He did what he instinctively felt he wanted to do. So his passion was fully behind what goals he set himself. And that's the sign, according to me, of a creative mind that thinks beyond what is given. Creative people never retire, because creative people will always find new avenues, new opportunities, new ways of expressing themselves. And if you are creative, the bottom line is you never need to retire.
I'm absolutely in sync with what Sir said just now. I think you shouldn't, like he said, his success became a trap is something that he mentioned just now, and he wanted to keep moving forward. So I think I identify with that a lot. I think it's important, as I said, that you need to not rest on your laurels. I'm repeating myself, but and the story only sort of echoes, what I believe in as well.
Time for a very short break. After the break, we bring to you insights from Vikas Bahl and Ananya Birla. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Inside Storm. The next session featured Vikas Bahl from the world of art, who shared his insights along with Ananya Birla from the business world on the topic leadership.
Leadership is like riding a horse. In two ways. One, and your horse probably being your thoughts and your people. And you don't really know who's riding who and who's going to win by the end of it. So either you're going to do it together or you're going to fail together, which includes your thoughts and the people who are riding with you. And the three things that probably drive this race are, to begin with, trust. And if both the people are not trusting each other, and again by people I mean thoughts and people, if they're not trusting, you're not going to win the race, or come back, figure out what went wrong, and go for the race all over again. Second being hug. It started by thinking that we hug a lot when we're at work, and it keeps us together, it keeps us going. And more importantly, you need a hug whether you win or you lose, because each way you have to still move forward and make towards your next journey. And the third being love, and that primarily comes from loving what you do and ensure that you know what they love doing and make them love what they do as well. So the three insights really being trust, hug, and love. Thank you.
So the leader's most important job is to make more leaders. And my second insight, I have my own shoes. I don't need to fit into anyone else's. I can sure use their footprints as inspiration. And my third one, there are no finish lines in entrepreneurship, just milestones to be celebrated.
The first story is actually a strange one that led for me to believe long time back that trust is one of the most important things. There was a job I was doing. I was working with someone called Mr. Sunil Lulla, and I had done a huge goof up as a management trainee. And I was being blasted by someone else who was the person we were working for. And while the person was pulling me up for the goof up I'd done, Sunil walked up and he stood in front of me, and he was my boss. And he told the other person, there is no way this has happened, and this has happened, it's my responsibility. I will ensure this happen, but I must tell you that my team will never do something like this. And he stood up there and just took over. I was standing right behind him. It was a long debate between the two of them. And after it got sorted and we walked away, I went behind Sunil and I said, Sunil, I just want to tell you that that was my mistake. He looked at me and he said, I know that. Just don't do it again. and he walked. And that was the moment for me when I realized that he just wants to trust me. He just wants to believe that I'll do the right thing. And from there on, even if I'm doing right or wrong, the first thing I would do is I would go and tell him. And I think that somewhere just went with me long term in my life, where I said, if I have a team and the team is doing something, just stand in front of them and ensure that you're taking the bigs and batters, but still know what is honestly going on behind the scene.
Great. So when I started at 17, and that too, I tried to start up a microfinance institution, it all seemed a bit crazy to everyone around me. However, my parents gave me the freedom to mold myself into a leader. So I truly believe in empowering my team members as much as possible. I think it is essential to give them their freedom to explore as they remained aligned with the larger vision, to make them all leaders in their own sense. As I do this, I have realized that my personal bandwidth has increased as well. I can do so much more in the same amount of time. This results in all of us being so much more productive and being able to do so much more as a team.
The next one being hug. This is from a recent incident that we had in a company where we were fighting the censor board. It was strange that we made a WhatsApp group where we were all connecting while I'm sure everyone knows Anurag was out there fighting the battle. And the group was called Gladiators. And it really came from that morning where we were sitting and we thought it was a lost cause. We did not know where we're headed, whether we'll win or we'll lose. And the only thing we told each other, just stick together. And we realized that just that hug, and might be a softer term for saying the same thing, was something that just took us through that battle and we came out victorious. But the more important thing was the way it happened. Even if we had lost, that hug would have stayed and we would have been prepared for the next battle together.
So I think for anyone who comes from a family with a legacy, it can be very pressurizing at times. So I've seen the works of my great-great-grandfather, my great-grandfather, my grandfather, and now my father. I have come to realize that having such a legacy is a blessing and an inspiration, not a burden. I think it is very important to realize that everyone has their own journeys, and I am my own individual. I feel very blessed and see the legacy as an inspiration to continue to work hard and continue to achieve my dreams.
The third one being love. This actually came to me from I don't know how to ride a horse at all, but this came to me from someone who does do that very often and is a really good jockey. And he said, when I'm sitting on top of the horse doesn't need to know that I'm sitting on top of him. The horse needs to know that he's just running in the wind, he's running on his grass, he's having a great time, and it's him and his wind and the far sight ahead of him. And it's not about me, it's about the horse. And he said, I don't know what the horse is thinking though, but at the same time, it is just to make that journey his journey and his victory his victory. And if he loses, again, go back and give him a hug. But ensure that he feels the breeze while he's running. And yeah, I hope that's happening.
Great. So yeah, my third insight, which was there are no finish lines in entrepreneurship, just milestones to be celebrated. So I still remember the struggle to find our very first client, and then reaching 10 clients, and then 100, and then 1,000. And now we stand at above 1 lakh clients. So there's really no finish line. As I embark on a new journey of launching my second venture, which is in the realm of e-commerce, I have truly, truly learned that there is no finish line. As ambitious human beings, I think we all want to achieve more and make a greater positive impact. But therefore, I think that the milestones must be cherished and celebrated. I think it's very important to enjoy the journey.
It's like the Olympics. Each year you think that the record has been broken and then someone comes and breaks it. And she's coming from a huge legacy where people have been just breaking records, and now she's going to have her own new battle and her own new record. So it's like being in the Olympics. But the beauty of it is that you work so hard for so long and so beautifully with so much relentlessness just for that 5 seconds of fame at times. And I think it's her moment to run her Olympics now.
Very kind, thank you. What sort of Vikas said reminded me of Life of Pi. I think being a leader is like struggling together with your team and overcoming barriers successfully. So yeah, I think it reminded me of Life of Pi.
It is time now to wrap up this week's edition. Next time, we featured various eminent thought leaders from two diverse fields, that is art and business, to share their meaningful insights with us.
Great story. And so whatever you do as an artist, as a businessman, anything you do, enter people's minds. We are in the business, in the world of media, into entering people's minds. And you enter people's minds and their hearts will follow. So we are in the fight for the mind space.